In the last video, we start a new topic, right? New chapter, chapter number 3 or class 12, history. In this last video, we discussed about the intro of chapter, and at the same time, we also discussed the first topic, that is critical edition of Mahabharata, right? V.S. Suthankar. Now, today we are going to discuss about the second topic of the chapter, that is kinship and marriage, many rules and varied practice, right? So within this, we have 4 different kind of subtopics with there, right? So we are going to discuss one by one separately. Now, first, the finding out about family. So in this, we are going to study about different kind of practice, different kind of families, right? So how family were considered in the ancient time, we are going to discuss in this topic, right? And second, 2.2, the idea of patrilineage. In this, we are going to study about how the ancient society, male dominant societies were there, and how the idea of patrilineage was happened, emerged. So we are going to discuss about it. In this 2.3, we are going to discuss about rules of marriages, different kinds of rules and different kinds of marriage were there in ancient 600 BC to 600 CE. So we are going to study about different kinds of rules and marriage, types of marriage, right, within this topic. In the last 2.4, we are going to study about the Gotra of women. Gotra means lineage, right? So how the idea of Gotras happened. So different rules of Gotras. So we are going to discuss in this topic. Understood? So we are going to study different separate one by one. So first, we have this finding out about family. Now family, you all know about it, right? So now the large network of people, a group of people, we define it as a relative or a kinfolk, right? So the family are usually part of large network of family people defined as relative, or in technical term you may call kinfolk, right? So that is family. Or family, you know about it. Now in ancient time, not only in ancient time, and even today, all the family are not same, right? In the terms of how many family members there are, in the terms of relationship between this, in terms of the varied practice, right, they used to follow. So not all family are same even, right? Suppose if I take one example, according to the how many member do you have, we have this joint family, right? In ancient India, these kind of family structures were there, where all the people, this father, mother, the grandpa, grandma, uncle, aunt, and then the daughters and son all used to live under a same roof, right? That's kind of family structure we call a joint family. And another, we have this nuclear family, right? Where the father, mother, and son and daughter, right? A small family. So nowadays, that kind of family was popular. In ancient time, these joint families were there, but it doesn't mean that even in India today we have that kind of family was there. Understood? So not all family are same, right? Now how do we consider as a family? Because if you have a blood relationship with others, then it is your family, right? Suppose in the most of the Hindi film, right, you heard this dialogue, "Hamara khoon ka rishta hai." What it means? It means he tried to say that we are family because we have a blood relationship, right? So that is how they consider family in ancient time, not in ancient time, even today, right? Now, interesting thing about it is, but most of some society, the cousin they consider as a blood relationship, and in some society they never consider cousin as their blood relationship. So these are the different kind of ideology or different kind of belief that used to follow by different people in ancient society. Understood? So now, if the question asks about the life, family history of king, elite people, ministers, that we have many kind of sources were there. We have coins were there. Through that we reconstruct the history of king, right? We have inscriptions were there. We have text sources were there, right? So through that way we know about the history of king, right? We know about Ashoka, Gupta, Chandragupta Maurya, Ajatashatru, Nanda, Bibhisara. How we have this family history? Because we know different kind of sources were there. But difficult things here is it's extremely very difficult to find the history of ordinary people, family history of ordinary people, because in ancient time, those who the writers, right, they are not going to write anything about the ordinary people, because if they try to write about the ordinary people, nobody will take care about it. So if he tried to write, somebody poet or somebody try to write about the ordinary people, he will not get anything. If he try to write about the kings and ministers, so he will get reward, right? So through that way, the history of ordinary people are really very difficult for historian to find about it, right? To reconstruct the history of ordinary family of ordinary people. But things here you need to listen here is need to understand here is what historians used to do. Historians sometimes they follow the strategy of going to sources through known to unknown. Just like, let me give you another example. Nowadays the head of the family is father, right? Used to be father, right? So they think that not only that, in many sources it mentions that father are the head of the family. So historians moving from known to unknown sources, they think that in the ordinary family also the head of the family must be a father. Is a patriarchal society that we used to have. Understood? Just like also that in most of the ancient India we had this the joint family. So historian try to replicate this idea by saying that most of the ancient India they used to have, even in this ordinary common people, family structure is joint family. How could they say it? Because they looking to the known to unknown sources. Understood? So that is all about the finding out about family. Understood? Now second, we are going to look after the 2.2, we are going to study about the idea of patrilineal. Now patrilineal means descendant from father to son to grandson and so on and so forth, right? Descendant means you're this lineage, right? Patrilineal means descendant from father to son to grandson and to son, and then so on and so forth. It means if the king died, his successor is his son, right? His successor is his son. Suppose a father died, his wealth is divided among his son, not for the daughter. Because through that way we know about patriarchal means father, male dominant society or house of the head of the house is father, right? Even in India, we have this patriarchal society, we have the male dominant society. Even in our own Tibetan society, head of the family, most of the head of the family is father, right? So we have a patriarchal society. So patriarchal means descendant from father to son to grandson. Understood? Okay. Now, opposite to this, if the descendant is carried through the mother, then we call it matrimony. Matrilineal, or matrilineal means descendant from mother, right? So in the exam, there must be a 1 marks question about what do you understand by the term patrilineal or matrilineal. So you need to learn about it. Understood? Now, how do we know about the patrilineal what used to follow in ancient India? We know this from the text called Mahabharata, right? Mahabharata follow the idea of patrilineal. If you remember the war between these Pandavas and Kauravas, right? Hastinapur throne, they fought a Kurukshetra war in which the Pandavas came up victory, and the eldest son of the Pandava, right? Yudhishthira ruled the Kurujanbat, right? Kurujanbat, present day is Haryana and Punjab, right? One of the most important Mahajana Pradas among the 16 Mahajana Pradas. Kuru is also one important Janpat, right? During the 600 BC. We have already learned this in chapter number 2. Right? So through that way, the patrilineal used to follow. Now, if you think like that, patrilineal started after the Mahabharata, then it is wrong. Right? Patrilineal, the idea of patrilineal is before the Mahabharata. The patrilineal idea was there, but Mahabharata tried to reinforce the idea of patrilineal. So through the story, we know that ancient India, they used to follow a patrilineal structure. How could we know it? Because when we look at the story of Mahabharata, then we know that that kind of patrilineal these structures were followed, because we know through the this Mahabharata war. Understood? Now it doesn't, and then from the 600 BC, so right, most of the dynasties they used to follow a patrilineal system. Right? Suppose we have this in the Mauryan Empire, we have Chandragupta Maurya, then we have Bindusara, then we have Ashoka, right? All the ruled by the son. Right? Not only in the Gupta, we have the Chandragupta first, then we have Samudragupta, then we have Chandragupta second, right? All are male, the successions were there. So through that way we know about it. In ancient India, patrilineal used to follow by different dynasty. Understood? Now, sometime in a history, there were some exceptions were there. Exceptions means we study about this Prabhavati Gupta, right? Exceptions of Chandragupta. Prabhavati Gupta, the daughter of Chandragupta II, right? Of this Gupta dynasty, the third king of Gupta. So what she did, the Prabhavati Gupta, she was married to this Vakataka king Rudrasena II, right? If you look in the map, see Vakataka dynasty in the medieval in the Deccan area, some Maharashtra, most part of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and some part of Karnataka, right? So they are very powerful dynasty, happened contemporary with the Gupta dynasty, right? Gupta Empire. So the king Rudra II, where the Chandragupta, the Prabhavati Gupta married to the king of Vakataka, Rudra II. So in the early date of the king Rudra II, right, and her son were so small, right, not able to rule. So what she did, she ruled this Vakataka empire for almost 20 years, right? So through that way we know not only that she ruled the empire, she even in the chapter number 2 you learn about her, right? She owned lots of wealth, lands were there. Not only that, she also introduced a coin, right, in her name, copper coin. So through that way, there are some kind of exceptions were there. The text of Dharma Shastra, Dharma Sutra says something, right? Women are not allowed to keep the wealth, women are not allowed to rule. But here, some kind of exceptions were there. Understood? So that is all about the idea of patrimony. Understood? Now the third, we are going to discuss about the rules about marriage. See, marriage means about, right, is a agreement or a union between two people, right? Two people. See, both look very happy, right? Now, after 2-3 months, their face going to be changed because of some kind of problem they are going to face. Jokes apart. Now, rules about a marriage that we are going to discuss about, right? What are the different kinds of rules were there and different kind of marriage types were there, right? So first, the most important rules we have is Kanyadan. Now, Kanyadan is a gift of woman by the father to the husband, right? Now, Kanya means K-N-Y. Kanya means girl, lady, right? Woman. And Dan means to give, gift, right? Donation. Now, in total, what it means, gift of daughter. Now, this Kanyadan is one of the most important duty considered, right? One of the most important religious duty of father to give her woman to the right person at the right time, right? So that is considered a very important duty of father, not only in the ancient time, even today. Father's duty, right? A very important duty to give her daughter to the right person at the right time. If suppose the father failed to do the Kanyadan, then he was considered as an unsuccessful father. Understood? So that is very important duty, right? Now, different types of marriage were there in ancient India, right? So we are going to study about different types of marriage. The first, we have Indo-Gami marriage. Now, Indo means inside, or Gami means, Indo means inside, and Gami means marriage. Now, what it means, marriage inside the caste system, marriage inside the family, right? Marriage within the kin group, kin means family, right? Group or caste. So that kind of marriage is considered bad or taboo. Right? That kind of marriage is not appreciated or not approved during the ancient time. Even in India today, even in our own Tibetan society, we not appreciate that kind of marriage within the family, right? Or caste. Understood? And second type of marriage is exogamy marriage. That is opposite to endogamy. Exo means outside. Gamy means marriage. So marriage outside the family or caste group. So that kind of marriage is appreciated or approved even today or in ancient India. Understood? So here, marriage outside the kin means family group or caste. So that is approved or appreciated marriage even today or also in ancient India. Understood? So this is the two types of marriage. And then according to how many spouses do you have, we have different kind of marriage for there. First, monogamy. Mono means single, right? And the marriage consists of two persons, husband and wife, monogamy. Now, then we have polygyny. Polygyny means men having many wives, right? Just like we have this medieval king, right? Muslim kings, this Mughal kings, and this Delhi Sultanate king. Then we have this Hindu Rajput kings. They used to have many wives, right? So this is, they follow that kind of marriage because this is kind of, I would say, the policy of matrimonial policy to gain the empire, to expand their empire. So they try to marry with many women, right? So there is kind of, I would say, the matrimonial policy followed by different kings during the medieval or in ancient time. Understood? Even in our own history, with King Songsan, right? He used to have many wives. Understood? And then next is opposite to this is polyandry. Women having many wives, several husbands, right? Now, women having several husbands. The best example of that is Mahabharata, right? In Mahabharata, you heard about this Draupadi marriage, right? Draupadi is a common wife of the five Pandavas brothers, right? The Yudhishthira, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Shadev. All those brothers have a same or single or common wife, that is Draupadi. So that is kind of marriage practice. They have types of marriage. Now the thing here you need to understand is, in second chapter we discuss about the growth of this agriculture productions and development in this rural area, right? And development of tax, development of trade lead to movement of people to here and there, right? So when the movement of people happened, the environment also changed, the idea also changed. So through that way, some people became to challenge or became to caution the prevailing this kind of norms were there. So to challenge this, what Brahman did. Brahmins were very popular at the time, right? Brahmins. So what they did, they lay down or they wrote a text or they compiled a text called Dharma Shastra and Dharma Sutra, right? In 500 BC, they wrote a text called Dharma Shastra and Dharma Sutra, very important religion texts or texts of ancient India. I would say rules, right? In these, not only that, they also wrote a different kind of text like Manusmriti in 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD, right? So within these texts, they mention about different kinds of rules that need to follow by the people, just like marriage rules, right? Caste systems were there, social structure, social behavior, what kind of the different activity need to be carried out by the different social groups. So these are the norms written in this book. So Brahman want everyone need to follow or obey these texts, right? So interesting about here is in this Dhamma Shastra and Dhamma Sutra in text, right? One of these texts, it mentioned about 8 forms of marriage, right? In Dhamma Shastra and Dhamma Sutras, in this text, interesting one, they mention about 8 forms of marriage, right? On 8 forms of marriage, in which the upper 4 were considered as an approved or good kind of marriage, and later 4 were considered as unapproved or bad marriage, right? Now first 4 is approved marriage or viva, in Shadi or viva, right? We call it viva, are first 4 approved, right? Brahma viva, Deva viva, Arsha viva, and Prajapatiya viva. These are the types of marriage, forms of marriage which was considered approved or good, right? Now the later 4 which was unapproved or considered bad or oman were taboo, right? Were Ashru viva, Gandharva viva, Rakshas viva, and Pisaicha viva, right? So these are the 4 kind of marriage forms that were considered bad. And in this Gandharva, right now in present days, in Indian society, love marriage is considered as this taboo, right? Why? Because Gandharva viva is love marriage. It's all about a love marriage that we used to have, right? That is considered, that kind of marriage is considered among this Gandharva viva. So that's why in Indian society, in the fathers and mother, they not appreciate love marriage, right? Because of maybe that reason, because that kind of marriage comes under unapproved marriage. So when you say unapproved, means there may be some social group, they used to follow that kind of marriage. That's why it's called unapproved, right? There were people there, those who live in the forest, right? Forest dwellers, those who are not belongs to this, the nomads and hunters, gatherers, those people maybe follow that kind of marriage. So that's why they consider unapproved marriage. So that is all about the different kind of marriage and these marriage rules. And the last topic that we are going to discuss about the Gotra of women. Now Gotra here refers, Gotra is a Sanskrit word, right? Now in English, if we literally change into English, it is called lineage or clan, right? Gotra means, now it means descendant from a common ancestor, common male ancestor. See, Gotra means lineage, right? In Tibetan we call it Rikyu, right? Paju Puju, Rikyu, right? Pala, we call it, right? Rikyu, right? In English we call it lineage, Rikyu or clan, right? Now, reference to Gotra means reference to people who are descendant, they were carrying their male lineage from unbroken male line from a common ancestor, that could be a man, right? See, now what is Gotra? How the idea of Gotra came, right? Now see, Gotra means, the name of the Gotra is, derived from a Vedic seed. Right? The name after the Vedic seed means Vedic sage. Now, okay, now pay attention. I will tell you the story about how the Gotra happened, right? Now see, these are the 7 rishis, right? From that 7 rishis, the idea of Gotra happened. Now listen, these 7 rishis are called Sapta Rishi. Sapta means 7 and Rishi means sages, right? Now, all the people, right? All the Indian people, right? They have their common they have their own origin. Their origin became from these, out of these 7 rishis. Sometimes historians also consider as 8 rishis, right? Agastya was also included into this, and then it became 8, right? Most of the historians consider as 7 rishis from which this Gotra idea was happened. Now, okay, let me tell you one example. Suppose if there was a boy called Suresh, right? And they're called Suresh and Ramesh, right? If Suresh belongs to Suresh, common ancestor is from this Arthi Gotra, and Ramesh is from Bharadwaj, right? Bharadwaj Gotra. So that means they are not brothers. They are not siblings. Right? Now, there was one girl called Pinky. There was a boy called Raju. Now they fall in love with each other, and now they want to get married, right? But both of the Pinky and this Raju, right, belongs to Arti Gotra, means they are siblings, they are brothers and sisters, because their origin is from the common ancestor. They belongs to common ancestor, right? Their lineage came from the same sages, so they are considered sibling or brothers or sisters, right? So through that way, that is very important. When it comes to the marriage, the Gotra rules are very strict and very important. See, if you notice in the Hindi movie, before the marriage, right, father and mother used to announce the Gotra of boys and girls. Why? Because when they announced the Gotra of these boys and girls, they tried to say that they both belong to different Gotra, and we are not breaking the marriage law. Understood? Now there are different rules of Gotra, so that is very important exam. So sometimes in exam these kind of questions will come in 3 marks, right? So first, Gotra means lineage, right? Descendant from a common male ancestor, right? So from this Saptarishi. Understood? Now, rules of Gotra. In your textbook, there are 2 rules of Gotra. If you want to write 2, means that's fine. 2 rules of Gotra. Now, the first rule of Gotra is women need to give up father Gotra and adopt husband Gotra. See, women need to give up father Gotra and adopt husband Gotra. Gotra or surname is a different, so you need to find it about yourself. Now, see, the marriage of this Ridesh Deshmukh, right? And then this Janelia D'Souza, right? They got married, right? And after the marriage, what happened? Janelia D'Souza, her name changed to Janelia Deshmukh, right? Why? Because the Deshmukh, Gotra or surname of this Deshmukh was added behind his name. So that's why women, Janelia D'Souza, right, need to give up father Gotra, that is Gotra or surname this D'Souza, and adopt husband Gotra, that Deshmukh, right? Or we also this Abhishek Bhajan, Aishwarya Rai, right? Now Aishwarya Rai become Aishwarya Rai Bhajan, right? So Bhajan is the name, the surname or this Gotra of the her father's Gotra, right? Abhishek father's Gotra, right? So through that way, that is a one important rules, right? You need to follow in this rules. Now second rule is women same Gotra could not marry. Now that is of course sure, right? If they belong to the same Gotra means they are sibling, they are brother sister. See, these are the 7 sages, right? They become sibling, right? So that begin this endogamy marriage, right? Endogamy means inside the caste system. So that is not appreciated. That is even in our society we not appreciate, marry within the kin group, marry within the family. So of course, right? So marriage outside the Gotra is considered approved or good, right? So if the marriage happened between the same Gotra, then it's considered as a taboo. Understood? So these are the 2 very important rules of the Gotra that need to carry by all the Indian peoples, right? Understood? So that is about the Gotra. Now the things here is exceptions were there. Now exceptions were there means the Satavahana ruler, right? You know about the Satavahana rulers. Satavahana rulers, they are in the circa 200 BC to 280, right? They rule in this Deccan area, right? They rule in this Deccan area. Satavahana rulers, right? Circa 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD, they rule in this Deccan area. They consider as a Satavahana ruler were considered, they were exceptions about the Godras. Because why they were exceptions? Because in exceptions Satavahana, because many of these rulers of Satavahana dynasty, what they did, many of the queen, they retained father's Gotra instead of adopting husband Gotra. Right now I told you that in the Gotra rules, women need to keep up father Gotra and adopt husband Gotra. Now in Satavahana dynasty, many queens still retained, still kept the father's Gotra instead of husband. After the marriage, of course they need to adopt the husband Gotra according to the rules, right? That was mentioned in Dharmashastra and Sutras. But they such as Gautami and Vasisthi are the father Gotra, still the queen has kept, right? Instead of adopting father Gotra. So that is exception, right? Not following the rules. Second is also Satavahana rulers, they practice endogamy marriage. Endogamy means, right? Marriage within the kin group. So that is considered taboo, right? So they are exception. Third, they are identified through matronymics, means a descendant from the mother. So most of the descendant is carried from the father, patrilineal, right? But Satavahana, they identify through the matronymics. See, suppose one of the most popular king of this Satavahana dynasty, right? Gautami Putra Shri Satangani. Right? Now, if you look at his name, see, they were identified through mother descendant, right? The matrilineal. See, Raja king, right? Gautami Putra means son of Gautami. Means Gautami is a mother Gotra. So see, they carry their, they identify through the mother, and Shri Satankani, that's the name of the king. Now Raja Gautami Putra Shri Satankani. So look, they identify through the mother, right? Mother Gotra or matrilineal. Matrilineal practice will follow in the Satavahana dynasty. So that is exceptions, understood? But succession is patrilineal. That means they carry their lineage, or they carry their descendant, or this metronomic practice were there, but successions were male. King used to be the successor of the empire or dynasty, understood? Now in this, if you in Satavahana, women were considered very important, right? Especially mothers. They have lots of respect to the mothers there, right? But during that time, in 600 BC to 600 AD, if you look into the Brahmanical text, women have not that much right. Women were considered inferior as compared to the male, because it's a male-dominant societies were there. Understood? So that is all about today's. So next topic we are going to learn in the next video. Thank you.